Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Ace and Tree.
I'm DJ Ace.
And I'm Tree.
And this is our full on review of
Doctor Strange.
Booyah.
We saw it in theaters and now we're going to talk about it
In depth.
Yeah, so we're not going to worry about the time limit anymore.
So, before you continue, there's one word that you should be very worried about.
Spoiled milk is one word.
That is one word. That's two words.
It's one word.
But, spoilers ahead! If you haven't seen it, turn back now and watch our other videos.
Yes.
Because they're amazing.
They're very amazing.
They are.
Top-notch quality content on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And
subscribe.
on
Like and subscribe right now.
Yes.
All right. For all you other cool people, stay here because we're going to start talking about
Congratulations.
Doctor Strange.
You made it this far.
You made it this far.
All
Okay.
right.
Let's do it. Just do it!
So,
2 words. Benedict Cumberbatch.
that is 2 words. Look at that. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Although I didn't like how fast the first act went, and it just kind of went from him getting into the car crash, and then all of a sudden he's freaking out and he's going through all this conflict right away, and there's like little build-up for his personal life. I still liked his acting and how he handled the script alone, and he really nailed it.
He changes his accent so well.
I know.
How does he do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But like even the scene where after he gets in the accident, he's like looking at the city and his penthouse or whatever, his apartment, and his girlfriend-ish or his friend walks in and they have like a little argument.
Yeah, it's intense.
It was really intense, and it was like maybe like 15 minutes into the actual movie.
Yeah.
I was like, geez, this is really sweet. I was really I was really digging it. So.
And speaking of which, the accident itself, he got in a car wreck because he was distracted while driving, which is a real relevant issue in today's world.
Yeah.
So I kind of appreciated that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So pay attention when you drive, people.
Yes. Story it progresses and he ends up in is it somewhere in India? No, not India.
It's in Nepal. I think he ended up in Nepal.
Okay, he ends up far away.
A faraway place, and he finds this sanctum, sort of. Sanctum place.
He tries to go there to he tries to get better, and because he heard about another guy who went there, he got into a huge accident. I think he broke his back or his spine.
Yeah.
He almost was paralyzed, and he went to this place, and then after his experience at this place, he was able to walk again and play basketball. They showed him playing basketball, and I was like, oh man, Doctor Strange was like, I'm gonna go there and get my hands better. Then, of course, it's revealed later that that guy's a sorcerer too, or he has the abilities. He's using magic to, to live properly or to live adequately to his standards or something.
So yeah, he goes to the sanctum and he meets the Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton, which is a huge role reversal because comic book well, the Ancient One's always been male, so it was a huge role reversal, but I liked it. She did great.
I loved it. Like, she was like a mentor, but she also, they didn't make her look like she was an all-encompassing god. She was like or goddess for this matter, but she still had some kind of human characteristics, and she was still not perfect because she was still harnessing the powers of the dark world.
Yeah, she was harnessing some dark powers, yo.
Yeah.
Be careful with them dark powers, people.
For real, though. Don't want to mess with
But yeah, it was a really interesting dynamic, that line between good and evil and what is good and not, you know.
Yeah.
That line, you know.
And I also liked that she, the Ancient One, was her main thing was like, the power comes from within, you know. I like that theme, or like if there's something you want to do, you have to convince yourself that you can. And that was funny because like she threw him onto Mount Everest and for him to teleport back and figure it out himself, and he did because he had the willpower too, and kind of funny, but also kind of cool.
The villain suffered from the classic Marvel
tragic fall.
Villain syndrome here. There's a one-shot villain played by Mads Mikkelsen, which is a great actor, but he's kind of wasted on this role because he's a one-shot. His intro is surprisingly brutal. Cuts a dude's head off. That was
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, his motivations were hard to understand throughout the movie, and he was just kind of there to be the physical presence of a villain. But what made him more compelling villain was Dormammu, who's the ruler of the Dark Dimension, who was mentioned throughout the entire film, but we don't actually meet the guy until the very end, or the demon or deity or whatever he is, until the very end of it. So that was a much more compelling villain. The villain not spoken of. Now, visually, Doctor Strange was a total mind trip.
Yeah.
Like, what?
When the Ancient One gets thrown out of the little stadium she makes, or the little room she makes, Doctor Strange and his other buddy, what's his name? Mordo. They jump out and they start chasing after her, and then people are chasing after them. They're running through these like buildings and stuff, and they're constantly shape-shifting, and it's ridiculously cool.
Like, yeah, it's very colorful. So lots of things are going on, like that opening fight between the Ancient One and the bad guy.
Yeah.
Was insane because he was like kicking all their butts and like manipulating the world and everything. It was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And then the surprising character to emerge, because it was, in my opinion, a character.
Yeah.
The Cape of Levitation.
Yeah. It had a personality of its own. I loved it.
It was hilarious.
Gosh, I'm giving it a gender now. Look at me.
Yeah. So the cape, what they say in the movie is that they imbue items with magical power, so the sorcerer isn't as taxed. So the Cape of Levitation gives the wearer the ability of flight.
Yeah, and it chose him too.
And the relics always choose you as well.
Yeah.
So the cape lets Doctor Strange fly, but also protects him from attackers and other things.
It was hilarious. Like once the cape like went onto him, he emerges like the baddest guy in the world. He like just raises up and looks at the villain like, come at me, bro.
Sup, man.
Yeah. I was like,
oh, speaking of which, and there's one scene where he's like fighting for his life, and he's like wants to get the axe, and the cape keeps stopping him.
oh yeah.
So he grabs the other thing and throws it out, and it's like this weird mechanical gridlock thing.
What about the part where the cape beats the guy's head to a pulp almost? Like,
oh yeah, and there's the part where he throws the cape at this other guy, and it wraps around his head. It's like throwing him all over.
He fights with the other guy and his spiritual realm at the same time. And
that got trippy.
That was crazy.
That was really funny though, because they kept like moving things in the real world and freaking.
And Christine couldn't see it as she was operating.
Yeah, she's like
Strange.
freaking out, and it was pretty funny
stuff.
So the big reveal of the movie, of course, was the existence of the Time Stone within the Eye of Agamotto,
the Infinity
necklace
Stone
that he wore. It's the Infinity Stone of Time, and he like messed with it for like 5 minutes in the middle of the movie, and they like everyone freaked out. You do not mess with the Eye of Agamotto.
Like they're like, oh, it could mess up time as we know it, or reality as we know it.
So they're like, you do not mess with things you don't understand, and he does it anyway. We find out that there's three magical hubs on the planet that are protecting the Earth from interdimensional and otherworldly beings. And so his goal is to blow one up so that the Dormammu can come in with the Dark Dimension and absorb the planet.
Yeah.
And so he actually succeeds, and then Doctor Strange like freezes time and tries to rewind it, and then he goes up into the Dark Dimension.
I would like to bargain, or what does he say? I like to bargain.
Dormammu, I would like to bargain with you.
I'd like to bargain with you, he ends up.
And then Dormammu kills him.
10 times.
10 times, because he put himself in an infinite loop, or because there's no time.
Thanks to that Infinity Stone.
There's no time in the Dark Dimension, but Dormammu kept noticing that they were on an infinite loop.
And then he's like, what do you want?
What's going on? After he kills him like a dozen times.
Yeah.
And they don't hold back either. They literally make you watch this like a dozen times.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
You see Doctor Strange get killed the most brutal ways possible. It's great.
He like throws a planet at him. At
one point, like they have like crystals go through him or something.
Yeah.
Very, very brutal, but.
So yeah, Dormammu, I'd like to make a bargain. Famous last words.
And it worked.
Dormammu, I'd like to make a bargain. Famous last words.
And it worked.
Dormammu, I'd like to make a bargain. Dormammu, I'd like to make a bargain. Dormammu, 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 I'd like to make a bargain. Famous last words.
And it worked.
And speaking of unresolved conflict, his buddy Mordo kind of does a 180 by the end of the movie and becomes probably his future bad guy.
Yeah, he feels betrayed by the Ancient One.
And by Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Because they broke the rules.
Yes, and now he's like, well, I'm gonna break the rules now because I live in chaos. I love chaos.
Yeah. So hopefully that pans out better than the last film.
And then we have the end credits scenes. Well, the last end credit scene. We finally get to see Thor.
On screen.
After
it's been a while.
It's been a while. What has he been up to? We don't really know.
We don't really know.
Ever since Thor 2, he has not mentioned his dad. And now, hey, he realized his dad is gone.
Yeah.
And now him and of course Loki are looking for his dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, to me, signals two things. It signals it signals A, Doctor Strange is probably going to be in Thor.
Yes.
And B, they're not going to they're not going to waste time in spending 30 minutes of the next movie realizing that Loki replaced Odin in the last movie. So there's that too.
So that's it for our full review of Doctor Strange.
If you like more content from Mason Tree, like and subscribe.
Yes. See you guys next time.